Hello, everyone. Oh, why'd the music go away? Music? Uh, there it goes. Hi, everyone. I'm Fatal Oasis. Thank you for tuning into my stream here on twitch.tv/Fatal Oasis, or watching the VOD on youtube.com/@Fatal Oasis. A bit of a hectic stream, start to the stream. Everything's going wrong. At just the wrong time, of course. But everything's fine now. Today, I'm building this thing. This is the Mega Motion Magikarp, which is going to be the last of the Mega Motion builds that I do. As you can see, it flops. The most exciting, yeah. It will flop around, and from certain points of view, it's ugly as hell. So I can't wait. This is an empty box because I've already opened everything. So I'm gonna put that aside. This is the book, and it came with this, which I'm assuming are the fins. Yeah, those look like fins. So I'm gonna leave them in there until we need them. Scoot this closer to me. There are how many bags? There are 29 bags in this build, but a lot of them are small. Unfortunately, because this was an exclusive for San Diego Comic-Con 2023, the PDF of the book does not exist. The best that we have is a YouTube video that is someone scanned every page of the book, slapped their watermark on it, and put some bad music behind it. Some like bad YouTube owned music so that they don't get dinged with stuff. So the book you see in the top corner is a YouTube video that I'm going to be hitting play on and going through. I've muted the sound because the sound's bad. But yeah, this is what it looks like. And I can skip. I guess skipping 5 seconds ahead is exactly correct. So this is what I have to go by. I mean, I could personally build by the book here, but that's kind of a pain. For me to manage both the book and the build and the stream and too many things. And I'm here to have a nice chill time building things. I'm gonna stop looking ahead. So I'm gonna put this aside and only use it if I need to see something more clearly than what the on-screen instructions provide. And there's no way for me to make this better resolution for you, because I can't zoom in the video any larger than it is, because YouTube's bad. I want to tempt you into the mess of using the manual anyway, just because it's Magikarp. If you'd like to see me building some plastic brick building kits using manuals and trying to juggle that and building things, go check out my earlier Lego streams. I'm pretty sure I did Bowser that way, as well as a few other small things, and it wasn't great because it was a lot of me trying to keep the manual on screen, but you can't with the size of those things. So although I didn't have this elaborate a setup back then, I was still using a CD tower for the top camera. Anyway, something about Magikarp using splash while trying to flip through pages. Yeah. Let's start with bag 1. Just tiny. Tiny little bag. Actually, are we starting with just bag 1? Oh. What did I do? There we go. Oh, bags 1 and 2, and we get another construction tool. Oh, bag 2 is a bigger bag. Alright, let's get building. Interestingly, bag 1 doesn't just have the small pieces, it just has the thin, long pieces. Also, the coloring on these pieces, these are marbled. Check this out. I'm gonna zoom in. All of these pieces are marbled. Or I guess not all of them, but the brown, this shade of brown, that's cool. Ooh. Oh yeah, it is intentional, because it looks that way in the book, too. I didn't expect it to be this pronounced, but maybe it's supposed to be like a wood grain thing. And not just we mixed the wrong dye and it came out brown. No. Alright, let's zoom back out here. Get my building tool. Oh, there are a lot of these 4x4s that are half plate, half tile. All right. So these go next to each other. Wait. Oh, we only need one of these. There we go. Immediately covering up with the marbled stuff. Yeah. I mean, I'm covering up with more marbled stuff, but there's this little bit that's still shown. Alright, we need 2 of these. The marbling does mean that they're slightly different shades of brown, because one was mixed slightly better than the other. Oh, wait. So that's with that one. I guess I should match color as much as I can, huh? I'm gonna separate all these gold pieces real fast. There we go. Good enough. So yeah, I'll take the 2 that match. goes 1 by 8? Yeah. Alright, so it is kind of hard to see what the marbled pieces are doing here. So it's just that one. That one. And this goes like this. Yeah. And then those two snap here. And then do the same thing but in reverse. Two, looks like 4 by 1 tiles. There's one. And then 2 more of these half and halves. Looks like chocolate ice cream mixed with fudge. Which is gonna want to make me get ice cream. I will say, putting these together, these pieces feel stiffer than normally. Like they're a little harder to put in place. I don't know if that's a process of these marbled pieces specifically, or if it's because this was like a specially made kit or what. Okay, again, we're building another thing. It's very hard to see how it's constructed. Because the thin black lines that are between the pieces kind of fade away into the marbling of the pieces. It looks like we start with a 2 by 1 on the bottom. But if the fact that it's marbled means it's set in consistency, like the plastic cooled differently, could be. Okay, so it looks like it's supposed to be like that, and then that leaves 2 spaces past it, which that's how this connects to here. Okay. And then do the opposite thing on the other side. Right? Yeah. Zoom out one more. Maybe a few more. There we go. Get the whole object here. Okay, 2 of these. And then 8 by 1s. And these go 1 from the end. And then hook down to here. Okay, what the heck? So we've got a 6x4, and we're attaching just 1 at the end. Nope, not this one. The tan one. And then the other blue. And then we leave a gap of what looks like 1 pip. So this will go wait. Maybe it's 2 pips. So when they put it on, they put it here. And if it's 2 pips, that lines up perfectly, which does look like how it looks in number 7. So it's got to be here. Push those down. Alright. Get a 2x2 of each of these colors, and our large plates here, these are 6x8s. Every single one of these down. There we go. And this goes here. There we go. Alright, 4 more of these plates in front. And then on the underside, which looks in the book, it looks like dirty almost. What are these? These are L's and 2x1s. And they don't connect to the blue, they just sit next to it. So this must be just to make sure that the base sits flat. Alright, so 2 more of these. A tan 4x1. The 4x1 goes right in the front. We have teal 1x1s with up pips here. This is probably for the nameplate, if I had to guess. And these sit one back. Yeah, so they end up flush with everything. Alright, 2x2s in the corners. So they're a bit missing in that corner. There is not a bit missing in a corner. Flip it over. I mean, there are gaps here, like they're all symmetrical though, and none of them are actually in the corner. The corner has an edge all the way around. It is not asymmetrical. It's the marbling? Oh, okay. No, it's not asymmetrical at all. Other than the yellow-blue thing. And I guess the marbling. I need these four. You look less cool in front of the class now. Alright, then we have... Oh, is that all of these? Yeah. All 10 of these gold pieces that have bars on them. So what was these ones? And the 2x1s go in front, huh? Okay, and we start here. Nope. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna pick this up to snap these on because it's a lot of pips that they're snapping on. There it goes. I'm not sure if it's a marbling issue because these pieces are solid, but it's definitely like a tight fit to put these on. Alright, what the heck is going on in the corner down here? One of these. Three by one goes here. And a gray 2x2. And a cyan 3x2. This is not cyan, it's teal. Baja Blast. There we go. We get all these dark blue pieces here. Alright, these are 3x2s that don't have any pips in the center row. It's just the 4 corners. Which I'm interested to see why we're using those. Wonder if it's like to make space to make sure gears don't intersect and clip some pips or something. I don't know. But that's it for bags 1 and 2. Alright, bags 3, 4. A few more marbled pieces. These 2x2 round pieces that have some sort of connector on the bottom so they can swivel probably. Oh, and they fit into these to make a spinning 2x2 plate. Alright. Oh, and some marbled 1x1 cameras here too. Interesting that they put it in the bag, them in the bag with the large pieces. Bold choice. A lot of 1x1s in here actually. There we go. Okay, 1 second here. I am pumping the brightness and contrast on my monitor so I can see things. That's a lot better, actually. Sorry about the camera shakes. Wait, are there 2 different... There are 2 different ones here. Oh no, okay. So these are 1x1 cameras that have 1 pip on the outside and a hole on the opposite side. And these are 1x1 blocks that have pips on 2 sides, 2 adjacent sides. And they're the same color. same marbled color, and then they were in the same bag. Okay. I'm gonna actually get the book out because it is a very small picture here. Page 19. Page 19? Page 15, I can read. Okay, yeah, this doesn't even show... It does show the yellow pip in the corner. Okay, and I've got to look at like these. So it's the pip on one side. Oh, okay, I understand now. Magikarp used Earthquake. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Okay, so what they're actually saying is I need to be making a 2x2 that have pips on two pips on two sides. So it's shaped like that. If I were them, I would have given a more detailed thing there, but... Alright. And these go on top, so we've got spinning on top. How are my cameras doing? They both good frame rate and everything? Cool. That's at 100%, and I can't see that battery. Everyone look away. Alright, it's at 100%. You can look back now. You didn't need to look away. You just see some controls. Some behind the scenes of how things worked. Alright, so the pips go outward basically. No spin. Alright, now what the hell are we adding? A gray 3x1. Probably this one. Two blue up pip 3x1s and an L. I gotta say, the compression on this YouTube video is making this a little harder than I thought it would be. But I don't exactly have another solution. Color commentary? Oh, great. Well, Heller, you know, I haven't seen a play like that since the big brick building storm play of 1907. 1907? Why would I have seen something 120 years ago? Whatever. Listen, I'm bad at improv, okay? Alright, 2x1 goes here. And those are 6x1s. Here. lined up with that piece, but here, right? Yeah. Alright. Huge fan of American sports commentary, mainly because I think it's silly. It's very silly. They constantly have to talk because, you know, I don't know why. And a lot of it doesn't make any sense. Now, we need one of these, and then one of these. UK, the commentators just stop talking for long periods of time. I mean, when there's nothing to talk about. Okay, first off, what sport are we talking about? Because if you're talking about European football, aka soccer, then there's large periods of that game where basically nothing's happening. Players are running down a gigantic pitch and, like, taking a long time to get anywhere because it's simply so large. Then again, a lot of things don't happen in American football either. They make one play that lasts 5 seconds, and then everyone sits around for like a minute, and then they make another play that lasts 5 seconds, and then... That's true of baseball and the NFL, yeah. And then they need to go to commercial break because it's been 3 minutes. Or the commentators are roped into talking commercials during the game. I used to casually watch hockey, but the advertisements drew me away. It's just too fucking much. Every time I try watching it, I just get a look at, like... You know how the boards around the hockey rink have ads on them? That's fine. I'm fine with those ads being there. I'm not fine with those ads being CG-generated ads that move and change while the game is happening, because then I can't follow the puck because I get distracted and look at the ads instead, and then I'm like, wait, what the fuck just happened? Where'd the puck go? And I'm just like, no, this is insane. I can't follow a game anymore. That's it. Done. 20 minutes of players farming the jungle. I mean, I assume that in a game where players are in an esport game where players are farming jungle, there are other players doing more interesting things. I'd pay to see 20 minutes of players farming the jungle during an NFL or NHL game. Yo, but what if we had weird terrain in our sports arenas instead of flat ground? I want a football game that is... I want a game that is a combination football and capture the flag. And I guess, like... in a paintball arena setting? I don't know. Just talking about how they're stacking camps for the carry and dewarding the small camp. I know some of those words. I used to teach nights. I used to love listening to radio broadcasts of the local minor league hockey team. What do you want? Is basically an Unreal Tournament? I mean, no guns, but yeah, sure. I don't know what I want. I guess first and foremost, I would want sports that don't have advertisements, which means they will be unsuccessful because everything is judged based on how much money it makes. Football with side quests. I don't know. I have heard of 17776 or however it's said out loud. I've never actually heard anyone say it out loud. I've heard of it. I have not seen it. I was a huge fan of Blaseball when that was still happening. The commissioner did a great job. Okay, I need this L piece. And the plus goes in this corner because I have to shove a white connector plus side into it. There we go. And then the triple connector goes in here in the middle. And this goes on this side. I never knew what happened to Pitching Machine. Pitching Machine bounced around a few different teams, I think. Kept getting stolen because it became a great pitching machine. And then did Pitching Machine get incinerated? I don't think so. I don't remember. The later seasons of Blaseball I don't remember because they're it kind of spread out a lot, the giant gaps of time between seasons. You've heard stories, yeah. Welcome to the chat. What? Twitch must have just disconnected for a second. My favorite team was the Mexico City Wild Wings. We went the longest without having an incineration, and we won season 7. One of our first incineration was it wasn't Mickey Wheels. Mickey Wheeler? I don't know. My Blaseball cards are around here somewhere, and I have a card of now I am curious. Forgotten the name. It's something Wheels, and the fan canon is it is 3 rats in a giant empty tire that somehow holds a baseball bat and plays baseball or Blaseball. The fan lore around that game was amazing. Mickey Thompson Wheels. I don't know that they had a middle name. Maybe. It wasn't Mickey, was it? It was... I don't remember. It's a tire website. This stream does not endorse whatever tire website Pug just sent you to. Wheels. Miguel Wheels? No. Manuel? Hold on. Is that wood texture on the bottom pieces? It's supposed to replicate it. Yeah, it is a marbled plastic of multiple different shades of brown. It does not actually look like wood, but it looks like it's supposed to look like wood. Hi, Molly. I was waiting until Molly said hi, then I was going to try and snipe first. Wow. So rude. Oh. Miguel Wheeler, thank you. Yeah, it's a bunch of tires in, or a bunch of rats in a tire. We go with these. I guess what I've loved about Blaseball, I guess first I loved the salty bet aspect of it, where it was fake betting on fake games, that simulation aspect, and I haven't found anything that kind of replicated that in the same way. Also how simple it was at first, but then the fan creating all of the characters and the storylines that were inherent to the simulation just being so weird and sometimes breaking. The Grand Unslam, when I forget the specifics because my memory sucks, but in the championship game, there was a Grand Slam, and then the server crashed and reverted to before the Grand Slam. And then, it was the Los Angeles Tacos was involved, because the devs of the game basically took that server glitch that undid a Grand Slam, because when it happened again, when that player was up to bat again, the first time, the second time, whatever, they didn't get a Grand Slam the second time. So the Grand Slam never happened, but it did happen because everyone saw it happen, but it never happened. So then the devs ran with it and said, the reality is fracturing. Los Angeles has split into an infinite number of Los Angeleses. The LA Tacos are now called, Los Angeles is now called LA Unlimited because there are an unlimited number of Los Angeleses, and the LA Tacos are now called the LA Unlimited Tacos. And it, like, stories like that the devs are like, we had a server glitch and it's ruined something, but it made for a cool story, and let's lean into that. That's the aspect of Blaseball that really drew me in. Sure, let's just roll with it. Exactly. And there are just so many stories of, like, small dev team who did not expect their game to become so popular so quickly because pandemic times. Everyone was at home, bored, couldn't do anything. And, like, couldn't deal with all of the server issues that were happening. And, like, they created something that had creepy, not eldritch, but, like, horror adjacent roots to it. So you'd have that mindset, and then every time something went wrong with the servers, they just leaned into it like it was intentional. Wasn't around for Blaseball. I want to watch a documentary or something about it. Quinn's did a, like, what is Blaseball, and then a short series on what was happening at the time. What was that called? I forget what it's called now. It's basically all I know is what Quinn's did. Yeah. That's pretty good. I would pretty often get lost reading some wiki article on the Blaseball wiki. I don't know if the Blaseball wiki still exists. I hope it does. I forget that you know PMG. Love PMG. Casual reminder, hey, don't buy Grand Theft Auto 6 when it comes out, because Rockstar fires Rockstar, they are union breakers. They fire potential unions just as they're trying to get started. They're currently being sued. Well, I don't know how that lawsuit's going now, but there is a lawsuit pending, I think, that the union is trying to get their jobs back because they were all fired. Which, in the UK, is something that's not supposed to happen. Okay, we're doing the thing again with the double inside gears. I wasn't there from the very, very start. I found it in season 3 of, I want to say, like 17. But right at the end of season 3 is when they took their first hiatus to try and fix some bugs and prepare for future stuff. And the hiatus, thankfully, was not very long, so it was kind of easy to take that time to learn everything that I needed to know, and there we go. And then be prepared when we came back, and then, you know, I was rooting for them. When you signed up for the Blaseball site, what you needed to do to be able to see anything The first question it asks you is, which team do you want to root for? You can't change this later. And it was, at the time, 16 teams? 20 teams. It was 20 teams that all had crazy names. Like the LA Tacos, the Boston Flowers, the... What city was it? Was it the Charlotte Shoe Thieves? I don't know. The Shoe Thieves were kind of a big team. The LA Unlimited Tacos. The San Francisco Lovers. It just had a whole bunch of those. And I'm scrolling through that list going like, I don't really want to choose one where I live, because I kind of hate the idea of you were born here, therefore you must always root for this team. Another reason why I don't watch real sports. So I'm looking through and I'm like, Mexico City Wild Wings, which is a very funny to me play on Buffalo Wild Wings, the restaurant. So I'm like, okay, I'll choose that. And then you can't choose your favorite. You can't change your favorite. That's it. You're stuck rooting for them. Rooting didn't really do much, but you know, so you're stuck rooting for them. So season 4, when they came back from their hiatus, played a few seasons, and the game got like slightly more and more crazy as it went on. It started with umpires just randomly incinerating players, and then that player dies and a new player is generated and put into that slot. And where was I going? So yeah, it's like getting slightly more and more crazy, and then season 7 rolls along and we win. The Wild Wings win kind of out of nowhere. I don't know why we did so well that season, because we were kind of the worst team, or one of the worst teams. So like at that point, I'm all in. And we did not win another, we didn't come close to winning another championship. There were several seasons that we didn't even make playoffs. Team names are good, yes. The whole Jessica Telephone saga is, if you want to read up on things. Jessica Telephone is a good player to read up on. Wyatt No. I forget Wyatt's last name. There are a couple notable players that kind of made the rounds and had large, important events happen to them. Anyway, baseball's fun. Anyway, I saw Heller mention way before that their sport of choice is marble racing. which I also got into for like a year or so, and then kind of fell off of. I got into it from Desert Bus, whichever year it was that they did marble racing. Yeah, got into it for about a year. They have a lot of different types of races that happen, and I think that's kind of what burned me out on some of it. But it was still fun to like pick a marble and root for it, because that can be fun. This is the wrong piece. I need a tile. There we go. Mostly just follow the Olympics and let the others pass. That's fair. What was the one that Desert Bus Dawnguard watched? It was just the ones like on the tracks, not like the sand ones or anything. Marbula 1, I think. Yeah, I watched that for like 1 or 2 seasons. I tried to watch more, but something about the racing through the sand stuff didn't catch me as much. Like the Olympics, because it's a variety of different events. I should try watching it again. I don't know, I got a lot of things to watch. There we go. From swimming to balancing. That sounds pretty funny. There we go. Trying to make sure everything spins freely. Your beloved Orangers didn't make the cut this year. I was also rooting for the Orangers. Mostly because it's the one I could pick out of the crowd. It was the only orange marble in a sea of like blues and greens. And I'm just like, I can see that one. That's the one I'm following. I don't think they ever did well in anything I watched. How bad was the sand? It was... They built tracks by taking, like, wet sand at a beach and carving a path into it. And, like, having bumps and twigs in the way and stuff like that. It was fine, but... I don't know. Something about it just didn't hit me the same way as... Here's, like, a track. Chris here, so they also pulling off an amazing comeback to win the Olympics, so I had an underdog to root for. Nice. Okay, then we do this gray rod on top. with a single spacer as a stopper. Okay, so this is gonna line up, huh? All right. There we go. Oh, and then this other one. And another single space. Oh wait, this isn't supposed to be flush. Grumble, grumble, okay. How do I fix that? I guess I just do this, huh? Shove everything down one by one. There, that's even, right? Be spaced out a little bit more. Okay. There we go. Trying to make sure there's as little little friction on the gears as possible, because I think that's where the grindiness in the Eevee build came from. There we go. That seems good. And what are we doing? 2 of these at the bottom. Yeah, I haven't found anything that really matched the salty bet level of, like, I want to actually earn fake dollars by playing, and like I want to try and be successful at this dumb betting thing. Just going in the slots here? Okay. There we go. Like, I tried Salty Bet for a while. For those that don't know, Salty Bet was/is, it's probably still going. It's a Twitch feed of automated fighting game that has a bunch of custom-made characters in it. That it's just computer opponent versus computer opponent, and you bet fake coins on who you think will win, and that's it. That's the whole thing. There's just a Twitch feed of, I don't know, Popeye the Sailor Man fighting Thanos, because it's fan-made stuff. And there's you got like 10 seconds to place a bet on who you think is going to win, how much you want to wager, and then you watch a weirdly crazy fight because the move sets are just totally made up, because it's all fan-made stuff, so nothing has to make sense. and then Popeye wins out of nowhere and you lose all your money. Like, what I always wanted was something like that where you get the ability to influence the outcome based on the odds and how much people have bet on each side. I mean, you just influence how much money you could make. Like, it's the total pot of coins split amongst the winners based on how much they bet. So betting more means you get more of the share of the pot if you win, but it also means if you lose, you're losing more money. Baseball did have some sort, like a little bit of, you can influence how, like, the rules of the game. That sounds cool, but I also want to be corrupt. That's fair. Baseball had, at the end of each season, the players would choose a rule to add where they wouldn't necessarily know everything about the rule. Or, like, one of them was they had 3 options and they chose to open the Forbidden Book. And that's all they knew about it. And the Forbidden Book, that's what made the umpires go crazy and started incinerating players. So, like, I don't know. And the game got more complicated when players could do more and more things to influence how the game went on. Which I think was the downfall, because baseball ended up failing because the game got so complicated that the devs had to take longer and longer breaks to try and fix things. So the first hiatus was only a few weeks, and then the next one was a few months, and then the next one was a year, and then they canceled it, I think. No, did they come back for like a half season? I don't remember. It was just like you're online for a month, you're offline for a year. It's not really sustainable. Anyway, I'm actually going to take a break because it's been over an hour. I had to get up and stretch. And I'll be back to open and build bags 5 and 6. Stick around. And I'm back. Hi, I'm Faded Oasis. I'm building the Mega Bloks Motion what's the official order? Mega Pokemon Motion. No, because it's not Mega Pokemon. It's not like the super evolved versions. Mega Bloks Motion Pokemon Magikarp. That's it. I'm building the thing. I've opened bags 5 and 6. And let's get to it. A lot of still support pieces here. Looks like this one sits here. I'm not going to push it up. I will push it down because I can remove it later. That's there, then this one's here. That makes sense. And then that sits here, which doesn't make sense. Did I put this on backward? I did. Cool. Going back to the last page. guess I wasn't paying attention close enough. But I guess none of you were either. So I blame you. It's all your fault. How could you? That doesn't help. How do I get this out of here? Because I need to pull it straight up, but I can't grip on anything. Guess maybe I can do this. Maybe this will help pull it up. No, because this just comes off. This doesn't really have any way. This is this tab here that it can't get in there. Actually, maybe this. Nope. Can't take this off. Yes. Okay. Just take those two pieces off. Now I can get in there. There it goes. Push that back in there. Unsnap this. Okay. So this goes like this. And this snaps in here. And here. Which means that the wheel is now on that side. Yes. Now push that back down. Put these two pieces back on where they were. And now when we're putting all this stuff on, the 2x2 fits here, and the ramp fits under the gear. There we go. That's how that goes. Alright, chat. Now that I've fixed that pretty easily, I forgive you. Tiles over on this side. Need an L piece here and two more tiles. So where does this go? All right, the 3x1 goes here. I leave a gap. The L piece goes on top. This goes here, and these go under here. This makes sense. Now we've got tiles symmetrically underneath this here. We've got our cool T-shaped piece again, which is 2x2, but with one of the, it's like an L, but the L is offset. That goes here. These red ones go here and here. This goes here. This part is kind of just like, put these random pieces on just to slowly build everything up. And other than like the tile, nothing really matters with color or shape or anything. I mean, the overall shape matters, but like the fact that this is a 3x2 and a 1x5 instead of a 4x2 and a 1x3, that's not going to matter. And it's all going to get hidden away anyway. What kind of gear is that looking for? Is it this one? Yeah. Alright. We've got 2 of our red 2x1s. Then the gear. There we go. And another one. This whole thing goes this direction. Right here. That got very tight. Really spins there. So let me pull this slightly away. Okay, maybe that'll be better. There we go. This gear was pushed too far that way. It was rubbing up against the pink pieces. Alright, take this tan one, add one of the smaller gears facing outward. Then a yellow 1x1, 2 spacers. Still spins freely. And another yellow 1x1. What is that in the middle there? Oh, that's the small white gear. Okay. This tiny gear with only 8 teeth. And then another white 1x1, which only half fits on here. And this whole thing goes oriented this way. Here. And that is suddenly very stiff again. Feels slightly stiff in this direction, but it's better. There we go. Alright, big blocks. Just to kind of fill that in. Small gear. Oh wait, they put this spacer on here. Does it go all the way in? Can it go all the way in? No, it looks like there are walls preventing pieces from going more than halfway. Yeah. Alright, so you can go there. Then a pink piece, then a spacer. And a gear. And a gear facing inward. So we get another one of those inside gears. There we go. This whole thing goes here. It's on top of that gear. It still spins freely. That's great. Okay, so we're gonna have like a long rod that makes it all the way over here to connect these two. Or a series of shorter rods, but looks like it's definitely a series of shorter rods. Alright, that still spins freely. I guess this is better than one longer rod because it's easier to like space things apart to make sure they're not too tight and adding extra friction. Get a yellow 1x1, a gear facing the 1x1, and a spacer Shove all of that all the way down. Oh, and then this goes here. Okay, so that gear's interacting with that gear to make it a corner turn. And then it wants me to shove this through. All the way? It looks like it's all the way. Yeah, okay. Make sure everything still spins freely. It sure doesn't. Something's binding somewhere. I guess I shook it loose. Shook it loose. Let me push this all the way in. I need a tile. Or the edge of the side of a piece. There we go. Spins fairly freely in both directions. Fantastic. So let me put this on so I can easily... Perfect. Oh, now we're adding to that bar. Definitely one of the most interesting Mega Motion builds from a mechanical standpoint. Yeah, it reminds me of how complex Eevee was, but this seems more complex. Because it's got... I mean, this has... Wait. This isn't the main drive because the crank can't go here. Where does the crank end up? I'm gonna look on the back of the box. The crank ends up on that side. Okay, so assuming... Yeah, if this is the nameplate, then the crank is over on this side. Oh, okay. So there's probably a gear that fits into here that gets used as the crank. So the crank will be here. That drives... So the crank will drive a gear that interacts with this one, that interacts with this one, that interacts with this one. And that drives the main drive shaft here. But also the second, I guess, 4 or 5. There are 4 drive shafts currently. 5. One of them is not connected. This is complex. Is there a formal difference between engineering and mechanics? I don't know. I'm not a linguist. I'm an engineer. The difference between geeks and nerds is that geeks get paid, nerds do it for fun. Probably, yeah. Mechanics, I think, deals strictly with moving parts and not with... I don't know. So I could, people could disagree with me here. I think mechanics deals less with how much force is... No, because they definitely care about how much force is being applied to the moving parts to keep them moving. Engineering also cares about how much force is being applied to the non-moving parts to stop it from breaking. A lot of engineering is figure out how much load is on all of this and how much load it can take to make sure that something doesn't break. Because with a lot of engineering projects, if something breaks, people die. If a bridge breaks, people die. If a dam breaks, people die. If a skyscraper falls down, people die. So, like, a lot of engineering projects are just like, you need to make sure that nothing here is going to fail. Mechanics, I think, is more just about moving parts. Like, here's how an engine works, and knowing every single piece about the engine, and how the pistons move and they pull in the gas oxygen mixture and compress it to just the right point so that the spark plug lights creates the explosion to push the piston back down, and then the escape system and how that drives the drive shaft and everything. And I think the people who care about the mechanical parts of an engine don't care about how thick the walls of the engine need to be to contain that explosion. Because they already have the engine block, it's sitting right there. They just care about how the pistons move in the engine block, I think. I don't know, I might be wrong here. The mechanical, or people who talk about mechanics, the concept, might also care about that, and I'm not as versed. That's a great explanation, as long as I don't have to overthink which words I use. Oh, I don't care. If I'm doing engineering and someone says I'm doing mechanics, whatever. Like, words are flexible. Someone might care, I don't. I mean, technically, if I'm talking about how much force a bridge can withstand, and you describe that as mechanics, you're probably wrong, because there's no moving parts to the bridge. If the bridge is moving, something's already gone wrong. If you're talking about like a drawbridge or something, the mechanics of how the bridge is raised or lowered, sure. Those are mechanics, absolutely. But figuring out how thick the steel and concrete need to be to hold up all the traffic is engineering, definitely. Speaking of engines, why am I building something that looks like an engine? I mean, it's not, but it has 6 pips for 6 pistons. It's gonna have moving gears on the side of it. Camera froze, thank you. Side camera froze. Side camera died. Oh, cool. I'm just gonna... this one. We're just gonna hide that for a sec. I'm trying not to shake things, but I'm shaking things. Sorry. %0 battery. Why? You said 100%. Is my charger busted? Is that what's happening? Can it only charge one device at a time? Why is the phone not reading 100% then? Or why is it... Things are gonna shake again. Size 1080p. Why is that so far off? More this way. Why is it not frame rate, or it's frame rate too? You know what? This is fine. Autofocus. Exposure log. Stop 180 FPS. Let's see how that looks. Alright, we'll have to deal with this. Thank you for letting me know. I very much appreciate that. Anyway, build something that looked like an engine block. That goes here. Ah, that connects this moving piece to this moving piece. And it immediately created a bunch of friction. Why? Gear slipping. Oh. Interesting. Right, that makes sense. So this, because of the way these gray bars are attached, you can slide it forward and back. So I can actually use that to adjust this, which is fancy. But it also means I can push it away and try and locate where the force problem is. Okay, it seems like driving this one is easier than driving one of the offshoots, which might make sense. From like from a mechanics standpoint of driving this bar will drive this bar, and this bar drives both of the offshoots, which is probably easier to do than an offshoot, trying to drive an offshoot. So you're driving this, which is at a 90-degree angle to your main your main crankshaft. And like, it feels smooth. So what happens when we add these back in? Yeah, that still feels smooth. Okay. Okay, and I'm making sure to line up this tan piece facing down with this black piece facing down. Alright. Back to this thing. A single 1x1. Step 63 is place a block. Done. Step 64 is place all these other things. Small pink block. A brown 1x1. A tan slipper. A tan double wide slipper. Or sandal, or whatever I was calling them before. Okay. Wait, why am I putting this here? Oh, that's going to limit how far this bar can be pushed in. Okay. Which makes sense. Yeah, that's still easy to do. That still seems right. What do we do with the rest of these? One by one goes here. And this one goes here. Make sure both are pointing down. Yep, cool. There we go, yeah. It's great that they have this page to explain what I discovered. Okay, and then we're locking it in place. I also like that they have a way for you to fix that, because me trying to fix that in the Butterfree build when it ultimately didn't matter was like I very much like that they thought about it and came up with a solution. Wait, these are these go on here, and then they go there. I'm just angling that so it doesn't collide with the gears. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, now we get a blue 2x1 with side pips that goes here. This bridges this gap. Double there. And this goes on top of the engine block. Oh, the frame rate on this, why is this bad? I gotta adjust. Probably because I didn't plug in the phone I put there. I just put it there because the stream's gonna be over as soon as I finish this bag. Or these bags. So, sorry about the drop in frame rate of this camera. I guess I can switch to this. Have a focus more on the top down. With the camera that now has better frame rate. Nope, wrong side. That one. Alright, another spacer. That spins freely. Stream's gonna be over as soon as you finish the bag. Yeah, it's getting late. It's past 8 o'clock already. And I don't really want to continue with my setup busted. I have to learn how to fix that, though. This now goes the other direction. There we go. Again, trying to shove pieces to make sure this can freely spin. This goes here and here. Ah, This is what the crank will plug into. What the heck? Alright, there's a brown 6x1 with 6 holes in the side. We're putting these into 2, 4, and 6. Maybe. There it goes. Then this goes inward. What? No, can't be. Yeah, it is outward, okay. Yeah, because that's got to go through the hole. So... get a marbled L piece here. Come on. That spins very freely. Alright, I've built this a few times before. Small red ring here. Bar in the center. So we can put this on the end. This plugs in here. So now as we crank, the entire thing moves, and that is very smooth. Yep, did it. Thank you. Alright, now add a whole bunch of things on top here. That noise was someone rolling some sort of cart or roller bag. All right, there we go. Yeah, okay. So the hallways outside my apartment have a tile floor with some pretty deep grooves for the grout or whatever you call like the cement that goes between the tiles. And whenever there's a roller bag or a cart or something, you hear it click on every single one of the grooves. And it's extremely loud with carts that are like empty, so there's no weight, so it bounces a lot. And that's what that noise was. I think my neighbors across the hall just came home. That's obnoxious. It happens like twice a month, and it's only for as long as people are rolling a bag or a cart or something. Like, it's whatever. And come through on stream. I muted the microphone both times. It's kind of why I stopped talking in the middle of a sentence, so I could mute it again. It's fine. I mean, I use a cart for my shopping anyway, so I don't have to carry 1,000 bags from my car all the way into my apartment. So I inflicted on them as well. Whatever. I think this is the latest I've heard anyone drag a cart through stuff, but it's still only like 8 p.m. That's fine. And it's really only audible if I'm in this room or my living room. If I'm in my bedroom, you can't hear it at all. Filling everything in with blocks. And this goes here. Beautiful. You'd be a noisy neighbor, you want to sing and be loud and energetic. So, I don't think I've ever heard any of my neighbors, other than when they're in the hallway, the public hallway. Because my apartment has, 4 exterior walls of my apartment, 2 of which have the hallway next to them. One of which is outside, has windows. And then the last wall is the bedroom and bathroom wall. And like a hallway with a closet in it. I've never heard the neighbors on the other side of that wall. So either they're dead quiet or the insulation in this building is great. The sound insulation. I kind of think it's the sound insulation because I've also never heard the neighbors that are above me. And I know there are neighbors above me because they flooded my apartment. Although I guess I technically don't know if they're the second floor above me or the third floor above me, but I know they're above me. Because that water came from somewhere. And that's it. That's the bag. Alright. Clean up all these extra little pieces. And that's going to do it for today. Middle of box. Bottom half of a box with a crank that spins a billion different things. Just so it can spin 3 things. I assume that we'll be attaching more gears, because that was very complicated to just spin 3 things. They could have done that way easily, more easily. We might link something else up here. Actually, you know what? That is to drive this shaft, which has that to drive this, which has that to drive this. That is for that offshoot. That is for that offshoot. I hope we have more gears and that it's not just a super complicated way of getting 3 parts moving at exactly the same rate, because there would be way simpler ways of doing that. So I hope that we plug another gear into here or another one into here. I hope that it's this one, because this is the one that I'm directly driving. I don't like that noise. Something's clicking. Okay. Trying to see what's... Because it looks like it's happening in this area. Yeah, it has to be, because these are the only gears moving weirdly. So something's grinding on something that's at like the edge of a piece that's slightly rotated or too far out or something. I mean, it's not actually applying any extra force, it's just a little tick. But I don't want it to compound into something bigger. Oh, that was big. Okay, it's definitely something in this area. I'm not going to take everything apart. I'm just going to move things out of the way if I can. I bet that was one of them. Nope, I made it worse, and I know exactly how I made it worse. Yep, fixed it. Okay, so the issue was... these gears here. I need a single pointer. So, there's a rod going through here that's driving this white gear, that's driving this gear, that's driving that one, that's driving this one, and that's how this thing is rotating. This tan piece is a stopper for this gray rod to stop the whole thing from leaning back and forth. And it was rotated inward slightly so that the corner of this piece down in here was hitting something on this on the side of this gear. So all I did was rotate it. I rotated it inward first because I thought it was this corner hitting something on this gear, but that made it worse. So then I rotated it outward and it fixed everything. And that's kind of why I don't like these like 1x1 pieces near gears, because it's so easy for a square 1x1 to be slightly rotated off and hit something. But, you know, whatever. Anyway, thank you for watching. Do appreciate it. Coming up on stream on Wednesday and Friday, I'm continuing my Archipelago, which is continuing into May, because 7 games take longer to beat than I thought they would. Especially one of them. One of them is taking way, way, way longer than I thought than I remember that game being. It's Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Island is a much larger game than I remember it being. But it's fine, because we made a lot of progress in Pokemon Blue last time, which opened up a whole lot of things. So we've got a lot of things we can try on Wednesday and on Friday. On Sunday is Sundays with Friends, fun co-op games with friends based on whoever shows up. Yesterday we played Split Fiction. That game is fun. We take way too long between Split Fiction streams just because other people are available, and it doesn't really make sense to say like, hey, I've got 4 people available, let's play this 2-player game. So yeah, looking to get back to that at some point. And then more Mega Motion Magikarp, Mega Motion Pokemon Magikarp, whatever. more of this build next week on Monday. Thank you everyone for watching. If you want to help me out, you can do all the free things. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on Twitch. Let me know something in the comments of this YouTube video. Let me know what's something that whoa. I just watched the battery for this camera drop to 21%. Cool. I gotta figure out this power situation. Let me know in the comments what you think I can do to fix this power situation, knowing nothing about how anything is set up. Voice and video are out of sync. Could just be you, I can't tell. I'm ending stream anyway. Thank you everyone, I appreciate it. Have a good one. Bye.